welcome to the new Leading Detection podcast in our very first episode. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're joined by Georgi Kodinov, who is Head of Compliance and Anti-Financial Crime at the Nexi Group, a true seasoned expert with decades of experience driving innovation and efficiency in Europe's financial sector. Today, we're going to be talking in a tech-driven world, so exploring how fast-evolving threats are outpacing our defences and why the future of compliance lies in data-driven, AI-powered, product-thoughtful systems. It's time to rethink skills, strategies, and the mindsets for the digital age. Great episode, great fun recording it. I hope you'll enjoy it too. Georgi, thank you for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about battling financial crime in a tech-driven world, something that you know extremely well. So what's brought us here today? Why are we talking about this topic?
Well, thanks for having me, Matt. It's always a pleasure, and good that we've come around. We've been talking about this interview for months now.
We have.
I'm happy we've reached that point finally. What we've discussed in the past, it's a very interesting time, not only in the financial crime, in the financial sector altogether, and financial crime and risks move as fast as the innovation in the financial sector altogether, if not even faster.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been interesting in the last years, and it will be even more interesting and intense in the next couple of years. So I would say looking from the outside on the macro level, it's interesting. Looking in the smaller micro level and from within the organization, it's scary much that needs to happen and is currently happening and we need to tackle. But I would say people like me, and they see it on the positive end from both ends.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that I'm in the middle of it right now.
Yeah, well, at the very forefront of it. So, I mean, we haven't got hours. We could probably sit down for a long time to talk about this. But we want to keep it bite-sized and get people talking, bit of knowledge sharing from the perspective that you have. You have a great vantage point from such a big payments provider. So, it's getting more complex. So when we talk about that in the space, what do we mean by the complexity that's been added?
We have two main dimensions. So the one dimension is the internal, what we need to do. We have an increasing complexity of the regulation, and that's amplified by increasing geopolitical tensions and restrictive measures and sanctions that we need to comply with. So that's from the internal perspective. And looking outside, we have innovation and adoption of technology within the financial sector. Some of it disruptive, some of it just a prolongation of what we've been doing and innovating in the past years. But in all cases, this is gaining complexity. Also, so when we sit as a financial service provider, in our case, payment facilitation and payment e-tech provider, what Nexi is. Yeah. But looking at banks and talking to colleagues, it's no different. It's no different in the other industries in the financial sector. They feel the tension between these two. At the same time, we have disruptive technologies and competition from the outside, and all the institutions need to keep the pace of innovation and take care of the increased regulatory burden all the time. So it hasn't been easy to compete with the newcomers and keep the level of security what we would like to provide to our customers at the same time. And I think we're doing a good job. We'll dive into that later, I guess. But we're trying to adopt as much as possible from the new technologies and from the new innovations. We see the technology and AI, the problem and the solution in the same time.
Yeah, we've got regularity on one side. Is that kind of the brakes versus innovation? You've got the accelerator and trying to use them both at the same time. Is that the challenge internally?
Well, we use it only on one side in anti-money laundering, and there's different part of the industry that tries to use it for money laundering and for fraud. So it's not my problem to try to use it on both ends. Yeah. I'm just tackling one of the problems, but I think it's a good thing. We see the adoption of these technologies from the criminal sector, and that helps us increase the pace of the internal adoption within our institutions. So I'd say this is the good part. So we see this adoption outside, and we do the needed investments within our organizations. So we have different projects, we have proof of concepts, we have research departments right now, something we didn't have 2 years ago. And the next thing would be, I think anti-financial crime will become a little bit more mathematical and academical in the future. As it will become a science or a branch of science on its own.
Because of what's happening on the criminal side?
Well, because we need to when we start implementing all this, using all these new technologies, we'll need to make it a little bit more academical and in structure and scientific in structure, so we could actually evolve these models. These are not models that could be further involved without the needed science behind.
Is that a case of the old detection methods just no longer working, and we just need to put a lot more investment into keeping up?
Well, exactly. So what we notice within our customer base and within our portfolios is that we see more and more clients with business models we haven't seen in the past. We see behaviors that we haven't seen in the past. And if we're not able to differentiate between business models that I do not know in the past, I'm not experienced with, but this is a business model that's actually completely on the legal side, and it's welcoming. It's a good innovative model, and we want to support our customers keep being innovative and grow. I need to use some kind of technology and some kind of approach. So I see these models. I know that my systems are, let me put it this way, the old topologies, what I'm looking for when I'm trying to identify fraudulent behavior, money laundering, or sanctions evasion. So the old topologies are becoming old. They do not apply to new business models. They do not apply to these new behaviors. And they are hard to apply to the new products that our customers, our customers base is using. So our response is to try to use additional machine learning and AI technology, complemented with a very risk-driven approach. So we want to focus our efforts and investments where the risks actually are identified, or we believe the risks to be. And applying all these models, we'd like to use machine learning models and AI to identify new topologies, new behavioral schemes that might be fraudulent or that might need looking at. And we'd like to complement our teams with the new technology and with the new without disrupting them. So one of our problems is we want to have customers with disruptive business models because we want to support innovation in the future. At the same time, we need to prepare ourselves for these new business models without disrupting our internal processes and procedures and teams and stuff. So one of the other challenges we have is putting the AI and the new technology with the humans that have been working along and complementing them and complementing the old processes and the old approaches in a manner that gives us some kind of continuation. We don't want to lose our previous experience and previous know-how altogether. So being way too innovative on the anti-financial crime internal measures and processes, we still go into the direction where we could lose our own stuff. We could lose our past experiences. So being disruptive on the internet is not very good. At the same time, there's a difficult balance we need to.
Yeah. I mean, what time scale are we talking? Because previously, time to adapt, you're thinking from detecting a new pattern to industry-wide adoption could be years plus years in some cases. So,
well,
what kind of time
exactly.
scale are we on now?
This is exactly what I'm putting our efforts internally in the research department. So we know that old patterns are old basically, and they're not everything we need to look at. We need to scrutinize the new business models, the new behaviors of our customers, and we have been developing models that identify fraudulent new behaviors that we haven't seen in the past. And we've been the first results from the research department have been very, very, very positive. We've from the results we've seen from these machine learning models, we have up to 99% of what the machine has identified as potentially fraudulent has been indeed fraudulent. So when we test all these models on the label data set, something we've looked at, so we could distinguish if the model is working correctly, it gives us extremely high accuracy rate. So it's I'm positive that we'll be implementing these models internally soon on data that nobody has ever seen. So the model actually works on data that our experts have not assessed previously. So the first time we see something pops up out of the model, it will be for the so the model, when the model identifies something as potentially fraudulent, it will be the first time an expert is looking at it. Currently, the models are working on data that expert has looked at and decided if it's one way or another, if it's fraudulent or not fraudulent. So the models can train, and the models replicate up to 99% the expert decision. But we are now trying to let the models work completely outside the realm of what's been assessed by experts so far. And we'll see how these models work. What we're doing currently is we're putting some of the model results within the normal process. So we're creating prototypes. So our experts and our fraud team, when looking at a case, they're just complemented by a model opinion, and we'll see how this goes along the way. If our experts say, well, we're contradicting the model opinion way too often, or if they rely on that opinion, and this is the process that we're trying to build trust within our internal teams of what machine learning and AI models are producing, because well, it needs to be that way. Models need to be scrutinized, and we need to be very suspicious of how much we leave for a model to decide on its own. And we're very careful about that. We're very careful of employing technology faster than we need to.
Yeah.
The problem with all these technologies is they scale so fast that if there's a minor issue with it, but we scale it to hundreds of thousands of customers and millions or billions of transactions, the little small inconsistencies or errors or not very good behaviors of the model scale up in seconds to a minutes, and we want to avoid this one. So this scaling of error is something that we're concerned with.
Yeah, and you've been working on this for a little bit of time now. What if someone else was looking to maybe explore it and start thinking about themselves? What have you learned? What have the hard lessons been? What would you wish you knew then that you know now?
Well, I could, first of all, everything scientifically that we identify as working models, we will be publishing this. So we'll be writing papers, and well, of course, keeping the statistical data, internal data needs to be protected. So we'll not be publishing any sensitive data and sensitive information about our portfolio, but the general scientific results we'll be publishing this one in a peer review paper. So I hope to be showing something in the next couple of months to come. That's on the scientific part, on the model part. What we see internally, so the main constraints or problems along the way are the internal resources. So basically, financial institutions, payment service providers like us, they don't have a research team. So this is something that we need to increase this competence along the way. The second part would be very much legacy systems that lead to the next part, and this is the data quality. So we struggle with data quality, and data quality is probably the most important thing when we develop machine learning or AI models. So these are the three things that we've been challenged with along the way. And the last thing is the adoption. It's very easy to create a misunderstanding between mathematicians and people from the financial industry, especially in the compliance field. So they sometimes speak different languages. We need to ensure that both teams work good together and communicate often. And we need to ensure that we implement the technology with the human contribution along the way. And we've been experimenting with that one. We start every time we identify a good measure of fraud or anti-money laundering or risk. We implement prototypes, and we put these in a parallel environment to work with the normal teams and see what the nature or adoption rate of it is. If there's a lack of adoption rate, independently of how precise these models are. So the mathematics may say this model is perfect. If the adoption rate is not good, it's still not a perfect model, because the model, to be perfect, needs to be understandable and trustworthy in the eyes of the experts. So we've been this last part seems to be one of the most difficult ones. It's basically it's easy to get 5 PhD mathematicians to create a predictive model from a set of data, and it's a whole other challenge to put this into practice in a process that's been working for years, and especially a regulated process. So it's even more difficult if it's a regulated process. But I would say I've seen similar developments 2005, 2006, when the first quantification efforts with the Basel II Accords for credit institutions in credit risk came. Yeah, and back then we had a similar risk assessment and models in the credit risk. Today, 20 years later, we have very advanced, very well adopted, and practically almost not independent, but definitely models that have earned their trust within the organizations and within the regulatory community. So these models are implemented everywhere, and they've been made a standard by the EBA, for example. The European Banking Authority has been created once they identify a good practice on the market. They start writing technical standards and requirements that are then implemented or adopted in all the institutions. So this process took 20 years in the credit and in the risk management field, in the quantitative risk management for credit institutions and for banks. And I think it will not take 20 years in the anti-financial crime field. I think the anti-financial crime field is probably where this was 2005 and 2006. But I think everything's much faster nowadays. And we have a technology that we didn't have it back then. So even me, I'm an old practitioner. I'm still writing codes, and I wouldn't be able to write something I could write with AI support today. I wouldn't be able to write even 20 years younger in that pace back then. So I think everything is faster, and we'll be seeing a complete transformation in 5 to 7 years.
So there's a lot to learn from credit risk, almost moving from that gut feeling to data science and data-driven risk management. That's where it started, and look where we are now, and that's something that AML can do a lot better in.
Exactly. I think in the field of quantification and predictive modeling, there will be a huge transformation within the next years. I don't know if the regulator will have the same pace, but when I look at the working I think it's called working program from AMLA, from the new anti-money laundering authority in the European Union. When I see their time frame, it's quite ambitious. So they want to have all these technical standards and policies published by the end of 27 in less than 2 years. And this is a pace we didn't have back then in the credit and the financial risk modeling space. Even the regulator is quite ambitious on the tempo.
Yeah.
And I hope we keep the pace. Actually, I'm a little bit worried if we're going to be able to keep the pace internally, because we're still an organization that needs to be focused on the customer. But if the regulator is positive about this pace of development, I think we'll be able to keep the tempo.
But there's a lot of lessons to be learned, right?
I hope the regulator will be, at least they are saying that they will be responsible for knowledge and information sharing. So once they identify topologies, they will have a mechanism to share this along institutions, along obliged entities like us. So I think this when something successful as a model or as a new topology is identified, I think they will be much faster into sharing this information with everyone else. Basically, the information sharing has, of course, increased in the last 20 years. So not only the tools that we are using, the information sharing and the experience that we share among each other will be much more effective in the future. Everything points out to there's a quite rapid development in the anti-financial crime field. So the risk is increasing and very dynamic. Everything we have everything we need to be as fast in the mitigating space.
And with the pace of change, is there more nuance to the changes there was to when there was with the risk, or is there methods that we can just copy and paste almost to help reach that deadline?
Well, definitely experience that we've made and knowledge that we've generated in the space of financial risk management and quantification and predictive modeling will be used in the anti-financial crime space and in this risk management. So basically the basic principles on how we add up risks, how we measure, how we limit. This is knowledge that we're definitely building on top of in the future. But there's new dynamics in the way that we develop and we test in the financial crime space that are very typical for this space. I will give you one example. Let's say we've been working on credit risk modeling or a rating system for credit risk in the past.
Yeah.
And when your model is trained on past data, you're very certain which customer defaulted and which customer didn't default. So there's no defaulted customer in a bank that the bank didn't know it defaulted because the bank didn't get its money back. So they kind of depreciate the money. They written off the money. So we have a very well labeled data set. What the models are tasked and assigned to do in this space is learn from the past and try to predict the future, and then we have different ways to measure and to see the model quality. In the anti-financial space, we need models that actually find behaviors that we haven't seen in the past. So our new models will be able to see also in the past things that we didn't see. So
retrospectively, we'll be able to see it.
Well, exactly. So if we're looking for anomalies in the behavior space, it means that we're looking for something that we haven't seen in the past. So the models need to be able to see something we haven't seen. So we're going to be discovering things from the past and applying this from the future at the same time. It's a very different approach. And our data sets, they're not labeled. So we cannot with 100% certainty give the model all the customers from the past and say, well, these customers were perfectly nice and good and nothing they ever did and not a single transaction these customers actually were involved in is in any way fraudulent transaction. We just don't know. It's called below the line. So all these models, they need to work below the line. So below the line is everything we say we haven't looked at. We actually don't know. We have some assumptions what's happening there, but it's below the line. So if you take a look at the iceberg, it's the top of the iceberg that we see, but everything underneath, we don't know that good. So it's a different approach, but we have different technology. So we're very good in anomaly detection right now. Something we weren't that good at 20 years ago. So I think, and I'm betting on this type of models for the future. But probably there's lots of colleagues out there that doing research in different directions, and I hope that we will be sharing all these research results in the near future. I'll be writing and reading articles about it, or I will be reading shared information from the AMLA. We'll see which comes first.
Yeah, it sounds like we're on the cusp. The technology is getting better, and we have so much data, historic data, like you said, that we haven't tapped into. So looking at that historic data, it will pick up patterns that we didn't recognize before, and then bring that into the new models and help us moving forward.
So we'll be looking in the past with a new set of glasses, with a new set of eyes, and with new technology, and we'll be discovering things in the past. But I think the recent past is the most interesting thing. So I'm not saying the past was completely, we were unaware of everything that was happening in our portfolio. No, I think in the recent years, with the increase of technology adoption, there has been more, and we've definitely missed out on developments in these years without using the technology. But I think this technology will be catching up quite soon. There's a different perspective on this one. Once we start employing technology to explain our customers and our customers' behaviors and customer models, we will be using this technology for additional tasks and purposes. So the same way as in the risk, if you can assess risk very well, you could offer much more better conditions on credits or in different financial products. It's the same in this field. If our technology allows us to understand a little bit more of the new business models and a little bit more of the new products, whether it's AI enhanced products or cross-border transaction with crypto or stable coins. Once we learn to understand that this business and new business models better, we will be evolving our own products much faster. Think everything that we research and learn along the way in the financial crime will be actually used in product development and in the internal product innovation space. So I'm hoping that that we are able, as institutions, that we are able to stay close the regulatory part, the compliance part of the institutions, the financial institutions, and the product development and innovation part that are actually working hand in hand together. Because I think the technology is so powerful that it will be enhancing the products and our customer offering.
So a knock-on effect of strengthening the defense is giving more freedom to the legit.
Oh, definitely. Not only reducing the risk and losses of risk, it will definitely give us a push in the product development space. I'm certain about this.
And is that what we can look forward to in the near future, or are we talking a little bit further away still?
Well, I don't think it needs to wait until everything is developed and ready. I think it's a continuous process. I think every small step of learnings could be used and adopted in different departments internally. So it needs to be, if you want to create effective models, we need to involve all the departments. So it needs to be a cross-functional teams. Once again, putting mathematicians in one room with a bunch of data and giving them a task that's very scientifically described in KPIs doesn't really bring much. We need to involve the rest of the organization in order to make the most of it. That will be crucial. But we are testing every result we're testing within the organization and within existing processes. Once again, the adoption rate, and not only adoption within the community of the anti-financial crime and money laundering and compliance, but adoption rate of new technology within the organization overall should be one of the major priorities and tasks of every research department.
Yeah. And do you think with the evolution of technologies, do you reckon the highly skilled professionals, tech folks, will be needing to be more business aware? Is it domain knowledge that's going to drive?
Well, it's always been a challenge to have the technical expertise and the domain knowledge in one. So cross-functional teams are the answer for that one. I've been hearing that there are some layoffs lately in the tech field, so that might help the compliance and anti-financial crime field to kind of absorb some of this technological knowledge. I would definitely use the momentum and increase the internal capacity for this. Hopefully the numbers and the budget numbers and the investment plans for the future allow us to do this and to increase these resources. I don't think there will be replacing old experts with new. They will be complementing each other, and I think once we understand that these research capabilities are actually not only improving the compliance side but also the product offering, it will be easier for us to go through the decision process and the investments and get the investment needed for it. But the capability building should be considering all the benefits from this research, from this type of research.
So the future lies in shared knowledge, data-driven, AI-supported, continuously monitored systems, and getting close to product.
Well, exactly. I would say that's a good summary. Continuously developing and covering the full space from regulatory compliance to product and development. Once we cover all this space, then we have a very healthy models and a healthy balance between regulation and innovation.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, Georgi. We've flown through, but yeah, we can't let you leave without sharing what you got coming up, any events you're speaking at. Where can people find out more?
Well, I'm actually speaking tomorrow in the ACAMS conference. No, I think it's the day after tomorrow. And there's another presentation I have in the Frankfurt School of Finance on the 2025 risk in money laundering conference. I think it's on the 19th of November. Not quite sure. I don't want to say something wrong here, but it's in November. It's in the Frankfurt School of Finance. Everyone is welcome. And once I have something published in peer review papers, maybe we could do a follow up on that one, and then
Yeah.
I have something more to show for.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep you to it. This episode will be posted a couple of a little bit after today. So if you're looking tomorrow, it'll probably be in the past for the ACAMs speaking. But yeah, I think find your LinkedIn as well. And yeah, sounds like a plan to follow up and hear how those that research has gone.
I will be looking forward.
Awesome, Georgie. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for having me.
Good. Ciao for now.
Bye.